Hello everyone, Justin Internet Cards here doing a recap of actually two breaks because we ended up running two cases last night. B24F4, case of finest, and then B24F5, also another case of finest. So we're going to start with F4 right now. All right, so first I do have rare refractors in here because they are actually very rare. I believe around 30 per driver or per card. So we start off with Max Verstappen, Joshua Dufek, and then numbered cards. Villagomez out of 200, Verstappen out of 200, Stanek out of 200, Russell out of 200, Joseph Loki out of 200, Prost out of 200, Lewis out of 200, Van Hopen out of 200, Coulthard out of 200, Senna out of 200, Sonopol out of 200, Jack Crawford out of 200. Now in 150s, Michael out of 150, Alexander Dunn 150, Bedrin 150, Mansell 150, Piastri 150, 18 out of 150, so reverse driver number. Taylor Barnard out of 150, Bottas 150, Voisin 150. And we got some out of 99s, Zach O'Sullivan, die cut 99, Michael, die cut 99, Lando out of 99, Perez 99, Carlos Sainz die cut 99, Max first on print out of 99, Yuki die cut 99, Alonso out of 99, Enzo Fittipaldi die cut 99, Alonso 99, Ollie Behrman die cut 75, Paul Aaron die cut 75, Max Verstappen die cut 75, Prost die cut 75, and then we got some of the inserts, which are out of 74 if they're die cut. So last on print, Gasly, Finest Intimidators, Colapinto, Finest Masters, Leclerc, World's Finest, George Russell, Chaos, Kushmini, Headliners. And then out of 50s, Taylor Barnard, Colapinto, Chaos, Joe on the Finest Intimidators, Bogdanovich out of 50, Villagomez out of 40 die cut, Hauger out of 40 die cut, Lewis out of 40 die cut, David Coulthard out of 25, Michael out of 25, Hauger out of 25, Perez, World's Finest out of 25, Gasly, Finest Masters out of 25, Victor Martins out of 20, Prost out of 20, Voisin out of 20, Michael out of 15, Colapinto out of 15, Gabriele Mini out of 10, Franco Colapinto Slipstream, George Russell Centurions, Kimi Räikkönen on the Let's Go. First auto out of 8, Lance Stroll. And second one out of 20, Jackie Stewart. And then we got our relics. So we got Lewis out of 99, Albon out of 75, Joe out of 99, Yuki out of 75, Gasly out of 50, driver number out of 50, by the way. Gasly out of 50, K-Mag out of 99, Nico out of 75, Bottas out of 75, Bottas out of 99, K-Mag out of 25, Haas, dual relic, triple color technically, 10 out of 10, and then Carlos Sainz, 6 out of 25. And then now we have F5, right, B24F5. So same idea, we're going to start off with the rare refractors, Yuki and James Hunt. Lewis out of 200, Max out of 200, Arvid out of 200, Boya out of 200, Nigel out of 200, Gabriele Mini out of 200, Zach O'Sullivan out of 200, Michael out of 200, Christian Mansell out of 200, Yuki out of 200, Tramnitz out of 200, Lewis out of 150, Prost out of 150, Tramnitz out of 150, Pepe Marti out of 150, Loki out of 150, Sonopol out of 150, Nigel out of 150, Piastri out of 150, Lewis die cut 99, Prost die cut 99, Wisnicki 99, Cordial 99, Yuki die cut 99, Zach O'Sullivan die cut 99, Seb Montoya 99, Versure 99, Mari Boya die cut 99, Noah Leon 99, Isaac out of 75 die cut, Kush 75 die cut, Marty out of 75 die cut, Hulk out of 75 die cut, Piastri, World's Finest out of 74 die cut, Versure out of 74 headliners, Perez, Chaos 74, Nico Hulkenberg finishers out of 74, Joe out of 74 Finest Masters, Zane Maloney out of 74 auto, Cordial out of 50, Senna out of 50 on the World's Finest, Nigel out of 50, Juan Pablo 50 out of 50 on the World's Finest, Gabriele Mini die cut out of 40, Veteran die cut out of 40. Cordeal die cut out of 40. Michael out of 25. Senna out of 25. Bortoletto out of 25. Alonso finest intimidator. Lance Stroll has the goatee, so it fooled me. Lance Stroll goatee pick. First on print out of 25, finest intimidators. Joe out of 25, chaos. JMC out of 20. Michael out of 20. Miata out of 20. Perez out of 15. 15 out of 15. Vershoor out of 15. Alonso 10 out of 10. Cordeal out of 10. Carlos Sainz 4 out of 8 auto. Alonso, let's go. Lewis Centurions and Orlando Bombardiers. And then we got our relics. SD out of 10. Leclerc out of 25. SD out of 75. SD out of 99. Joe out of 99. Bottas out of 25. SD out of 50. Alonso out of 99. Sainz out of 75. Checo out of 75. Leclerc out of 99. George Russell out of 50, and then finally Albon out of 50. So again, guys, that summarizes the break. Sorry if this was a little out of focus, but did want to make sure I did that recap for you. And of course, we'll be doing another break next week. So follow me on Instagram, JustinIncident_cards, and then also on Whatnot, JustinIncident. Thank you very much.